It was spring of 2006, and I'd recently graduated from Guilford College in the summer of 2004 with high hopes of making an impact and doing work that would bring change to the world. This was before I knew you can't change the world. You can only change yourself, and that has ripples outward. I'm not sure what you know about Guilford College, but when I attended, it was a place for hippie liberals, the type of people that would join the Peace Corps or AmeriCorps after college. People who protested war because they didn't believe in it for any reason. In short, Guilford College was full of counterculture at its finest. A Quaker school with Quaker values. And I'm not Quaker, but their values of direct access to God through silence spoke to me. And while Guilford had been an excellent incubator for my quirkiness, I graduated feeling very lost about what was next for me. But I knew what was expected of me by my parents, by society. I needed to get a responsible, well-paying job to start paying off those huge student loans I was now saddled to. And that's how I found myself on the 12th floor of the largest building in downtown Greensboro, nervously waiting to interview for a job in annuity sales. Never mind that I had no earthly idea what an annuity was at the time. Picture this, I was wearing a white blazer, the one I had proudly purchased for my college graduation from Guilford, and a white matching palazzo pant outfit. And I thought I looked professional and sharp. And at the last minute, while getting dressed, I decided to put on a pair of white shell dangling earrings. An accessory outside of my comfort zone, but an accessory I really liked that I thought helped accent my face well. In the interview, I was interviewed by two people. The man that would become my boss and a friend, and a woman who would become a colleague. Let me tell you, I killed that interview, and I knew it. I felt good about how I'd represented myself. The man said, "Let me go get my boss. He'll want to meet you." When he left the room, the woman leaned over in a conspiratorial but friendly manner and said, "You did really well, but take those earrings off before you meet the next person. They make noise and they're distracting and unprofessional." Regardless of whether or not that was true, it was like she stuck a pin in my balloon, and I let what she said sink in. Yeah. Wanting to appear coachable, I took the earrings off, and in doing so, I abandoned a little part of me. A small part, but a part. I got the job and the subtle message, you can't be you here. Play small, don't take up space, don't stand out, and for heaven's sake, don't call any attention to yourself. I got that job, and I was exceptional at it. I was a 3-time Leaders Club award-winning internal wholesaler. But it cost me. It cost me my most authentic self. Despite my sales winning and getting bigger and bigger, I spent 11 years there making myself smaller and smaller. That one small, seemingly insignificant decision to take off a pair of earrings and abandon myself became 11 years of ignoring my intuition, 11 years of playing small, 11 years of not living authentically. I have no pride and no joy in telling you that it took 11 years until I finally stood up for myself and said, enough. No more of this. No more abandoning myself, no matter how small the decision. The wise, authentic, expansive version of me never went away. She was always in there, inviting me to play, inviting me to pay attention to her, listen to her, take her advice. So why did I abandon myself, and why did I do it for 11 years? I'll tell you why, and maybe this will resonate with you too. I didn't have clarity. I didn't really know who I was or what I wanted to be in the world. It was absolutely lack of clarity about who I was and who I wanted to be in the world that allowed me to abandon myself in that moment of the interview. When have you abandoned yourself? When and how often do you make decisions that are out of alignment with what you value, what you desire, what you need, what you love? What seemingly small, insignificant choices are you making that erode your confidence in who you really are? Share them in the comments section below. I want to know. For me, over those 11 years of playing small, I was also desperately trying to find my way back to myself. And I went on a journey of learning yoga, learning a lot of yoga, working with coaches, reading every personal development book I could get my hands on. And what I learned on that journey, like Dorothy with her red slippers, was that my wisest self was in me all along. Just like your wisest self is in you. No matter what decisions you've made recently that took you out of alignment with her, she is always there waiting for you. Sometimes it feels like she's behind a veil, just out of reach, or buried alive even. But you probably get glimpses of her. I would get glimpses of her, but let me tell you, she scared the living daylights out of me. She wanted me to do radical things like make my health a priority, quit my job, travel more, get wildly outside of my comfort zone. In short, she wanted me to stretch. And listen, I'm a painter, and you can't paint on a canvas that hasn't been stretched. She needed me to stretch in order to gain confidence. Let me put this another way. We don't have confidence and then go do the hard things. We have to stretch to do the hard thing. That's how we gain confidence. I'm wondering, what hard thing is coming to mind for you right now? That hard thing is the veil, the thing standing between you and your most authentic self. You have to do the hard things to really meet her. And it's not just one hard thing. Often we have to do a lot of really hard things. There were 3 big things that kept a veil between me and that most expansive, beautiful version of my most authentic self. And these are 3 things you need to do too to access your wisest self, embody your wisest self. First, you have to learn to trust her. Second, you need to learn that the fear you feel when she nudges you to do something scary is actually a green light. And third, you need to keep envisioning her and how to envision how to show up as her in the world. Can you relate to that? Do you do any of those things right now? Maybe you do them because you think it wouldn't be responsible to maybe you don't do them because you think it wouldn't be responsible to do them. You don't believe that you're worthy of them. But what would be different if you did something different? Let's break down these 3 things. First, let's talk about trust. I didn't trust my wisest self because I'd weakened my intuition muscle. Take off the earrings, Alicia. Okay. What can it hurt? I thought. But my stomach definitely made a knot. When her voice got loud, asking me to do something, I was terrified of it. She wanted me to stand up for myself, making choices that might disappoint other people, things that might hurt feelings or relationships. And if you want to trust her, your most authentic self, you have to get to know her. And you do that by getting clear on your core values. At that time in my life, I hadn't spent enough time getting clear on my own personal core values. I didn't have a compass to help me discern if what I was feeling was something I should follow or not. If you take nothing else away from this video, I need you to know your personal core values are the key to everything. They are the key to seeing your authentic self. They are the key to living a life of your wildest dreams. They are the key to playing your highest version of yourself, to be playing bigger in the world. And I hope that as soon as you're done with this video, you'll spend some time getting to know your core values and learning how to live them. Core values are the crux of the work that I do with all of my clients. After identifying core values, my clients stop playing small. They write the book they've always wanted to write. They land the dream job they've always wanted. They start the business that they were afraid to go after because they know their values. You have to spend time getting to know your values and start learning to live by them, to be able to hear and trust your wise self. You can download my free workbook below if you need help with this. Now, the second way to unveil your wisest, most authentic self is to change your relationship to fear. Let's talk about fear. Long before Matthew McConaughey wrote Green Lights, I've been saying that fear is actually a flashing green light telling you what you need to do. In yoga, we talk about the obstacle is the path. That hard thing you're terrified of, sending the email, asking the person out, ending the friendship, having a tough conversation, applying for the dream job, creating your own dream job, starting a business, writing a book, those terrifying things, those things that spark a little voice in your head that says, "Who do you think you are?" That is a signal to do it. Don't run the other direction. Do it. That is how you lift the veil and become your most authentic self. Fear is a green light. Now, the third thing you need to do to step into your most authentic self is practice what I call vision casting. Vision casting isn't just about knowing yourself. It's about reflecting on how you interact with your loved ones, how you show up at your work, how you show up with family and friends. Think about how you are showing up now. Pause and think about it. You can pause the video and think about it for a minute. And then do that again. But imagine yourself as doing it as if you were showing up as your highest, most authentic version of yourself. You can do it right now. What 3 words come to mind when you picture yourself interacting as that highest version of you? Use those 3 words as your guiding light forward. And When you turn this video off, you have a decision to make. You can identify your core values. You can see fear as a green light and do the hard things to stretch, to grow, and to build confidence. You can cast your vision of your highest self and start taking baby steps to show up in the world as her, or not. But what I know for sure is that life is short and regret is painful. So tell me, are you ready to start taking up space, to dream bigger, to believe bigger, to walk in the world as the truest, most authentic version of you? Only you can make that choice.